Jeg var 15 år da jeg gikk til Arneby første gangen på GU.
Hva skjedde på bakrommet da legesaken sprakk?
Kjenner jo med en gang at magen vrenger seg.
Norgeshistoriens største overgrepssak splittet en bygd og et kommunehus.
Vi sa det over bordet. Det her blir svært.
Hør Frostalegen, en varslet katastrofe, kun hos Fabel. Kom i gang på fabel.no og få 60% rabatt i hele 2 måneder.
Akkurat som Ståle Solbakken og de norske fotballgutta er vi i Kiwi på ballen for frukt og grønt. Derfor har vi sammen med Bama laget en forfriskende smoothie-serie til 19,90 pluss pant. Du får også hel vannmelon til 14,90 per kilo, og 450 gram Cevita røde plommer til 29,90. Perfekt til kampen. Kiwi, stolt sponsor av norsk fotball. Fra bredde til topp.
Det er helt naturlig å munke på familietreff. Ta deg en munk fra Munkholm. Forfriskende fri.
I was 22. I had done everything that my dad had wanted me to do at this point.
Alex Hormozy woke up one day, realized he had been living life for his parents, then made the hardest decision of his life.
Sometimes you have to let other people's dreams for your life die for yours to live. And for me, it was like when I continued to every day not want to wake up, that was my wake up call, where I was like, either I continue to live this way and not want to be alive, or I just risk the fact that I'll die to everybody else. I was looking out from the condo that I'd been able to buy with this job that I had, and I was like, is this it? And the whole time, I just really didn't enjoy my life. And it was just, not wanting to wake up. And it was the decision to leave Baltimore, which is where I was from, to quit that path, to decide to start a business of my own, was still to this day the hardest thing I've ever done. Because I had no siblings. I basically had no mother. I had just a father. And so his approval was literally everything. And he disapproved of the path that I wanted to take in my life. And so I think a lot of these mental faculties or these little frameworks or these isms just came from how can I combat this incredibly booming voice in the background? Because when I look at what I was doing at the time, I was a consultant, I graduated in 3 years, I took the consulting job, I did all the things. But the craziest thing was that the moment that my father was most proud of me and he approved of my life the most was when I was the saddest. And so that's when I was like, maybe his approval isn't the right way to feel good about life. And so that started basically the 6-month journey from when I decided that I wanted to change my life till when I changed it. I moved to California to start a gym or get into fitness. And I got there and the guy who I said I was going to mentor under was like, where are you staying? And I was like, I don't know. I just got here. And he's like, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, I don't know. I just showed up. And so he said I could sleep at his place that night. The next morning went to the gym and he got on a chair and said, hey, who here is going to house this kid? And one guy came up to me and was like, I'll give you a room. So I rented one room in a house for $400 a month. And then when I left that room to start sleeping at the gym, I remember being actually kind of excited about it. I remember being like, man, this is going to be a sick story. Yeah, this is my Rocky cutscene, right? But the thing is that the Rocky cutscene lasts 30 seconds in the movie, but it can last 5 years in your life. My first gym was underneath of a parking garage. And so there's these metal dividers in the ceiling. And so cars would drive over this and it's a concrete box. And so it sounded like a gunshot, like and it would happen at all hours of the night. And probably the most painful from an emotional perspective experience that I would have on a regular basis was that it was also an abandoned enough parking lot that college kids my age, would go up and party on the roof. And so while they were partying literally above my head and making noise that would prevent me from sleeping, I would be down below in a dark warehouse in a city that I knew no one. I was from Baltimore. I drove across the country. I went to Huntington Beach. I literally knew no one, and no one knew me. And so I'm sleeping there, and then I realized that I can't really sleep at night. And so I'm living on naps for the first 6 months of the gym. And homeless people are sleeping in my parking lot, and I have to go out and tell them to go away, and then I get back, lock the door, and I go back on the AstroTurf, which is where I slept with a blanket and a pillow. And I bring this up because the visceral feeling that you go through when you're going through the mound of shit period or the shit-eating, what feels like a marathon, is that it becomes a 30-second soundbite in my story.
Yeah.
But it was years. I hated living the life that my dad wanted me to live. I was his bitch. That's what it was. I was his bitch. I was living his dreams out, not mine. Sometimes your parents' dreams have to die in order for yours to live. And for me, I realized that the idea that my father had of me as his son, that image had to die in order for the image of myself that I wanted to be to live. I think when I was like sleeping on the actual floor of the gym because I couldn't afford 2 rents was when it like really hit me that no one was coming to save me. And like if I failed, I would have to go back and tell my dad he was right. And that felt like worse than death for me. And then as soon as I opened my gym, I was like, oh shit, how do I pay rent? And someone walked in the door and I was like, please give me money. I promise. And I had no equipment in my gym because I couldn't afford any. So it's an empty gym with just turf. And I was like, I promise you, I will get you amazing results. And they were like, are you going to be here tomorrow? And I was like, I sleep here. I have to be here. I promise I'll be here. Right?
It's impossible for me to not be here.
I can't leave, right? And so the early people took pity on me when they literally paid the first 20